This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your charm. Hello, it's time for Let's Talk Nigeria this morning, the last for the month of February. Today's the last day of the month of February, and tomorrow is March. I can't wait to march into the month of March.
I can't wait to march forward.
So all the same, good morning to you, and let's talk about this very important topic, which is about the reduction in the pump price of petrol by the Dangote Refinery, and this has elicited a lot of reactions, and one of such people that are reacting are the marketers. The marketers are reacting, and their reaction is not a funny one. Their reaction is they have been lamenting because of what Dangote has done, and this is not the first time Dangote is doing this. Recall that sometime last year during the Utah season, we saw the Dangote Group reducing the price of the PMS, and less than 2 months again, the Dangote Group has done it again. And according to them, this strategic price adjustment is designed to provide essential relief to Nigerians in anticipation of the upcoming Ramadan season, while also supporting President Bola Tinubu's economic recovery policy by alleviating the financial burden on the Nigerian populace. Recall that in December, the refinery reduced the price of PMS by 17 naira 50 kobo from 970 naira to 899 naira 50 kobo per litre. And this was also part of their commitment to easing the burden on Nigerians. And now again, they are doing this. And the latest reduction is by 65 naira from 890 naira to 825 naira per litre. And this started yesterday, being the 27th of February 2025. And from what we read from the newspapers this morning, across the different regions in the country, they're expected to sell differently, but within the range that have been provided by the Dangote Refinery. And I think Lagos has their own price. The South, they have their own price. The Southeast has its own price. And I think it's also different for the North Central, the Northeast, and the Northwest. But all the same, what Dangote Group is saying is that they are committed to alleviating the financial burden on Nigerians. But marketers are not seeing it that way. But the question the Nigerians have asked is, of what difference is this reduction going to make to the price that they are buying the petrol in different filling stations? Now the Dangote Group have said that when you come to the South, you're going to be buying at this price from the retail outlet. Are we going to see that play out across the different states that make the South region of the country? And very soon we'll be joined by our analyst this morning to look at all of these things. Another concern is, why are marketers, why are they lamenting? According to them, some of their dealers are still importing, And when they import and Dangote is reducing the price of the PMS, it means that they might be losing because people would want to buy where the prices are low. For instance, if there are shop A and shop B and shop A is selling lower, why will I go to shop B? So this is what the marketers are saying, and they are not happy about that.
Definitely. The major concern here is that although Dangote has reduced his product's price, but then they might be running at a loss. And the loss is that they have already imported the product, ready for them to market it. And now, strategically, the Dangote Refinery has reduced its price. And like you just mentioned, nobody will want to go buy the same product at a different rate, most especially when it is more expensive.
And that's the position of the marketers, and they're not taking it lightly. Another position is that, okay, even for those who are buying from Dangote Refinery, right? So let's say in January or earlier this year, earlier in, in February, they bought something higher, and now less than how many weeks the Dangote Refinery is reducing the price of the product. Have they finished selling what they have to go buy another one at a lesser price? And now they have to reduce whatever it is they have been selling before, which is really not good for them. But all the same, as Crossovarians, we'd like to hear from you before we start talking with our analyst this morning. Do you think this reduction is in the interest of Nigerians? Do you think that we're going to see this reduction, translate to lesser or lower prices across retail outlets? Let's start with Crossover State, and then people in other states, you can also call in to have your take this morning on this very salient conversation. Our phone lines are always available for you to call in and make your input. 0812-723-7060 or 009-230-0022. Now, these are the numbers for you to call this morning. Now, something that the Dangote Group had said is that they're not just doing this because of their commitment to Nigerians. They're also doing this to aid what President Bola Tinubu's economic revival plan or economic recovery plan is up about. Hello, good morning to you. Okay, do well to call back 009-230-0022. These are the numbers for you to call this morning. And if you're finding it difficult to connect with us via calls, do well to take to WhatsApp and drop your messages and your contributions this morning, because I think there is a challenge with the network providers this morning. But let's look at what the marketers are saying. The marketers are not having this easy with them. And if you're a marketer out there, or if you're somebody who owns a petrol retail outlet, not the black market, but you operate a petrol retail outlet, and we'd like to hear your take on this matter too. What do you make of it? In all sincerity, do you think that what Dangote Refinery is doing is going to affect you, or are you just speaking because you're a business person and you're talking from that lens of being a business person? 0812-723-7060 or 0809-230-0022. And another thing that the Dangote Refinery is doing, they've also tried, from the report we have here, they've also tried to reach out to the marketers to have them support this initiative. Imagine if we begin to sell PMS at a lower cost. It's going to translate to the transportation sector. It's going to see a drastic reduction in the cost of transporting goods and services from one point to the other. And I think the reason we've had inflation at an alarming rate, or we've seen the prices of things skyrocket in recent times, is because of the price of the petrol. So imagine if all the marketers, including Dangote Refinery, they are selling at lower prices. It's going to cut down drastically, reduce it to the barest minimum what we're buying in terms of affording food items in the market. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kamaka.
Good morning to you, UV, again.
Okay, before I will talk to the marketer, I want to ask a question, because what Dangote is doing now, I want to ask, how about Warri Refinery and the Port Harcourt Refinery? Because they told us that those two refineries, they are start working, they are started bringing software to the marketer. Please, where is refinery? Are they still working, or where are the refinery now? That is for that. Now, let me go back to marketer. The time that Mr. President said fuel subsidy is gone, did they write letter to CTV before they remove fuel for 190 to 500 or something naira that they were selling? Now, the Dangote Refinery is trying to bring down the problem that federal government is causing to Nigeria, but the marketer, they are refusing to use the price of fuel. In the sense that they said that the one that they bought before, they bought it high, they cannot bring it down now so that they will not lose short. My question is that when Mr. President said first subsidy buy, did they sell letter or did they wait till they said those old fuel that they bought in let's say 150 or 150 per liter at that time when they were selling off for us 190, 180? Did they wait first till that is finished before they exchange their fuel? You know, the problem in Nigeria is corruption. When somebody is not talking to anybody, because the person that's supposed to talk to you is corrupt. That's why you see we'll continue to pass through all these problems that we are passing through. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, UB Furniture, for your take on this matter. Bear in mind, it is not the responsibility of the Dangote Refinery to resuscitate our moribund refineries. It is the responsibility of the government, and we have a minister. So it's also for us to ask the minister, what are you doing to ensure that our refineries that so much monies have been invested in to not just die off, become moribund and useless? What are they doing to revive? I remember during the last administration, we were told that about $1 million was earmarked to revive the Port Harcourt Refinery. They told us some level of work has been done, but we want to see it materialize. Hello, good morning to you.
Richard, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning and welcome back. This is Clement.
All right, Clement, thank you so much.
Yeah, I want to ask, this fuel that we are buying in Calabar, is it from the Dangote Refinery or from the NNPC Refinery or from the marketers itself? Why I'm asking is because Dangote are reducing their fuel price, but it's not reflecting in any of the filling stations in Calabar. So I want to ask, which of the fuel are we buying from? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Clement. That's a very important question. Are we buying from Dangote or some other place? And this question is very key. You know, Dangote had announced some of the retail outlets.
Yeah, those are retailers. He is a refinery owner, and we know he would need the marketers to help with the selling of his product. And the marketers are the ones that call the amounts that the products that they bought directly.
At the end of the time.
Exactly.
Yes.
Directly from his refinery. They're the ones that will determine. So even with a slash in Naira, there's always going to be the differential due to marketers.
Okay, I think our guest has joined us this morning. Good morning to you, Richard. Can you hear me?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. We have the country director, Citizen Solution Network, join us this morning to have a say on this matter. Richard, we have seen the Dangote Refinery reduce or lower the price of the product twice in less than 3 months, right? But the concern here now is that Nigerians are not seeing this translate to what is being sold in the retail outlet. Do you have an idea why we're seeing this?
Come again, I think I missed the last of the question.
Okay, so in less than 3 months, we've seen the Dangote Refinery reduce the price of the PMS, of the product they're selling. But Nigerians are complaining that they are not seeing any changes in terms of what they buy at retail outlets. Why do you think this is the case?
The truth of it is that the reduction in the price of PMX is just almost insignificant. Even in research, when the finding is said to be insignificant, it simply means you can't use that to effect changes. So it won't really impact on the price of things because the changes are not significant. People want a significant change in the price of goods and services across the country. We have to revert to the pre-May 29, 2023 price level. Until we get to that index, there is no way you're going to have significant change in the price of things, because there is no what I call enough incentive to be able to drive the price of your goods and services down, given the fact that you're only having fractional reduction. It's not even fractional in real sense. It's almost inconsequential at the end of the analysis. So the truth is that until when we have that reduction to pre-May 29, let's say about less than 297 naira per litre, then we can actually start talking about the need for us to now, go ahead and fight or call for price review. But until then, it's not really the gallery.
Okay. So are you saying that the price reduction is insignificant and that's why it's not causing a change in the price of what we buy at retail outlets?
The issue is that how much naira did Dangote reduce the price of fuel? And where were we as far back as 2023 pre-May 29? Fuel there was sold for 297 naira per litre. So what we're buying right now is almost 300%, if not more, in terms of the cost of the fuel. So if you put that into reality, you ask yourself, why would we have a reduction in the price of general goods and services in the market, when in the real sense, what we're buying for it's still on the high side? Neither Dangote nor NNPCL or whosoever they are putting forward to justify the current price of PMX in the country can justify. They lack what I call the justification ground to say that the price of PMX is what it ought to be. And it's even sad when you think of the fact that the argument being put forward by Dangote is a part of the share in its company is owned by government, and yet we're saying a price that is so high. This is something that you get the crude oil practically from the local economy. Okay, and then there's a waiver regarding short the dollar payments, and yet we cannot have reduction in the price. So the whole talk about this whole thing is just annoying, to be honest with you. And the people end up suffering at the end of the day. The common man of the streets who will have to pay very high for his transportation, who will have to spend more money to just keep the bulb on in his business premises when the public electricity companies fail to live up to their own claim of energy supply or distribution. So it's just sad. So I don't expect a significant change in the price. But they know that if they want significant change in the price of goods and services, transportation and costs of doing business, they know exactly what to do. They can all sit down and say the natural resources for crude oil is beneath the soil of this country. Over 70 billion barrels of this crude oil. And that is the raw material. The refinery is here to serve the Nigerian people and our brothers and sisters in West Africa. And they can choose to take the right decision by reducing the price of PM. The company will not fail. Rather, you're going to have a massive, as what I call, as a purchase order from the Nigerian people. Today, filling stations are shutting down. I travel a whole lot. I've been traveling over the last 48 hours, and I can tell you that across the country, I saw filling stations shut down. In fact, the other day I saw a filling station that the woman was using it to sell food. Because the purchasing power of the Nigerian people seems to have been weakened by the inflation itself. Because inflation is not just a rubber. It's a rubber that takes from all of us. It makes you spend more money for things that naturally you're supposed to spend less for. And the factor driving it outside just the devaluation of the naira, outside just the increase in the cost of bringing goods into this country from the cargo exchange terminal. One of the major drivers of inflation in this country is the hike in the price of PMX. So if they want to see a significant reduction in the price of general goods and services, it's just for them to actually sit down and say, we have this raw material, the refinery is here, we are not importing anything into this country, let's set cheap. selling cheap most times is a policy that is not only just for the business survival in the real sense, but also for something that the people can actually enjoy and make the country better. Because reducing the price of PMX simply means boosting the Nigerian economy from the angle of getting more people into the production market and then getting them to actually spend less on transportation, which simply means more money for them to buy all the essential commodities they might need. So if they want to, I don't think Dangote should even be the person who should be talking about as reducing the price of PMX. If we want to have a reduction in the price of PMX, it should be coming from the government. And unfortunately, the government is not doing anything as regard addressing the price index, what it is today in this country.
Mr. Richard, my question goes to us, yeah? We know that market forces gets to determine prices of commodities. Wouldn't you posit that if we had more refineries in our sector, we might see prices drop? And the reason I'm saying this is looking at the telecommunication industry. When we had just one or two of the providers, we knew how much people bought SIM card, we knew how much people bought their recharge cards and all of that. But when we had more service providers come into the industry, they had to drop their prices. You're an economist. Don't you posit this might also work for the oil sector?
My brother, the truth here is that even if you bring many refineries across the country, with current bureaucracy and current control, there's control already in the markets. Let me be frank with you. Even the so-called telecommunication industry, for them to even increase the core tariff, they have to sit and the president has to give approval. What you saw in the recent review in the price of data and call as in screens, what we saw basically is an agreement. So the market is still regulated, and that's why the price of data increased by some fraction. So in the oil market, the economy is still regulated. There's still regulation. There's not deregulation in the market. In fact, that's why I said oftentimes when the Nigerian government uses a term, what they're telling you they want to do is the opposite. So if you're deregulating the market, that simply means we're not supposed to be in a position where NNPCL will not be determining the price of goods and services, as we're saying right now. Because they're the one determining it. Soon they'll come up with another price list of what they are going to sell PMX in different parts of the country, setting the benchmark for others to follow. Okay? Don't forget that the late Bamidele Aturu, Barrister Bamidele Aturu, may his gentle and precious soul rest in peace, whoever he is right now. He sued the Jonathan government, sued Alistair Maduke, then the Minister of Power, the Minister of Petroleum then, and then made it clear that the government cannot hands off when it comes to the issue of regulating the price of PMX. When Jonathan increased the price of PMX to about 7 naira then, he sued the president, he won the case, and the court made it clear to Jonathan that the price increase is unacceptable. Most importantly, it must not be increased in that market. So the truth is that there's already a policy framework to regulate the downstream sector. Even if you look at the law, like the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission, the Nigerian Downstream and Midstream Regulatory Authority, part of their responsibility is to regulate not only just as a profit sharing, but also debts as a risk and debt management, as well as even signature bonuses. So we already have tremendous as an institution across the country that regulates this as in oil exploration down to even the refinery and then the sales. But what we're saying is that the regulation in this case is impeding national development because it's undermining, the productive sector. When you have to pay so high for something is wrong. So anyone who's telling you that the current market price, the function of demand and supply, it's not really being honest with you, because what we're saying is government using its own brute force and power to fix the price in a way that it's against what the Nigerian people expect. And even not just the Nigerian people, what the private sector expects.
Okay.
So the economy right now is not really doing well because of that kind of regulation. We want the markets regulated where people can be held accountable, where there's level of transparency and then the practice is based on standard. But when the regulation is practically something to kind of injure the Nigerian economy, then I think all rational minds needs to rise up and tell the government what is the gain. Because even the claim that by removing fuel subsidy, an argument that some of us rejected from the onset, that they said they removed my subsidy, they will not borrow any money anymore, they will have enough money to finance massive public infrastructure and critical infrastructure projects. They are not even using the money for that same reason. And so we're borrowing more. 1/3 of our debt, of our budget, is being driven by debt. So we are borrowing more. In fact, right now, there's a claim that our debt will increase to about $9 billion based on about 4 set of debts currently being as a showcase to the president.
All right, Richard. Thank you so far. Thank you. We need to take a breather. That's good. On a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with this conversation. Right, we've been talking about the reduction in the price of the PMS by Dangote Refinery and the position of the marketers, and then the reality on ground. And Richard Inoyo has been doing justice to this topic. Please stay with us.
Chips and salsa. Spot on. 92.3 FM, Calabar. Calabar's number one. Number one. Music, sports, and talk radio. Let it hit on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sparkling 92.3 FM.
This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics, entertainment, people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your charm.
All right, welcome back. Let's take the conversation notch higher this morning. Still talking Nigeria, talking about the reduction in the price of the PMS by the Dangote Refinery, the position of the marketers, and why we're not seeing this reduction translate to what we buy at different retail outlets. And before we reconnect with Richard Inoyo, we have a message here from Nnameka at Federal House, and he says, "Good morning, Okamaka and Sine.
Good morning.
Let me come in from the angle of filling stations residing in Calabar. If you consider the risk involved, the bad roads and cost of hiring a truck in going to Lagos to load a 45,000 liters truck from Dangote Refinery, you would rather..." Okay. Wait. Nemeka, will come back to you. Okay. Richard.
Okay, with you.
All right, welcome back. Before I get back to you, someone is making a point here. Okay, so he's saying you would rather prefer to buy it with a private depot here in Calabar at a different price from Dangote's. As such, you cannot sell same price with those who got theirs from Dangote. Hence the variation in prices across filling stations. This is the position of Nnameka this morning. And another person is saying, "I think you did not include your name." But he says, okay, this is Ofyong from Bakassi. Ofyong from Bakassi says, "I think there is a group of people controlling the price of petrol for NNPC. Dangote Refinery price don't match." These are his words. Okay, so back to you, Richard. You were saying something. And these are the positions of the persons that have sent in a message this morning. Now, another concern here is marketers and their grievance, right? They are lamenting that Dangote Refinery is reducing the price of his product. Should they be lamenting?
Well, the truth here is that I hate to say this. I hate to say this. For me, the marketers are irrelevant. I will not lie to you. They are irrelevant. Because we don't have... Why am I saying so? The manifestation of middlemen in the supply chain of PMX across the country in itself is an indictment.
Hello?
Hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We lost you at some point. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the absence of, in fact, the presence of middlemen across the country as regard the issue of supply of PMX is an indictment or a clear indication of lack of it.
Hello, Richard.
I guess
Hello?
we have to reconnect with Mr.
Can you
Richard.
hear me?
Yes,
We can now, but it's breaking at some point.
I think maybe it's just the network. I don't know if I'm clearer now.
Yes, you are clear.
Okay, so what I'm saying is that the middlemen market in the petroleum industry basically is an indication of the failure of government.
Hello?
For instance, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, can we reconnect?
Okay, Mr. Richard, let us call you back because we can't hear anything you're saying and we want to make sense of what you're saying. So we'll get to call you back, Mr. Richard.
So he was saying something about the marketers and their position. I like him to continue with that. But now the messages we got before Richard reconnected. Okay, I think we have him back. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm saying that the distribution of PMX and product across the country is an indictment on the part of the government. It's also an indication that we don't have the right infrastructure to aid the distribution of PMX across the country. If you look what is going on right now in Nigeria, one of the distributions of PMX to various service stations and even the so-called depot is done by tankers. The tankers move our PMX from the depot to the various
Hello?
Hello?
Richard, your line is breaking.
But can you hear me now?
Okay, I think we can hear you now.
Okay, what I'm saying in the real sense is that the whole idea around having marketers to move across the country is an indictment on the government and also an indication that we don't have the right facility or the right investment to move this PMX to various refilling stations. And that is why the marketers are looking at people appearing as though they are relevant. If we have the right investment in the oil and gas sector, we will not need them. That means real time, you have refineries in different parts of the country. Most importantly, the refineries will have their own trucks, and their trucks will just move the PMX to filling stations owned by either the refinery or by government, and Nigerians can get oil real time without depending on third parties whose only reason for coming to the oil market is for profit, and not necessarily the well-being of the Nigerian people or the well-being of the Nigerian economy, but just for their own personal profit. I don't have any. I was saying that the current situation of data in the country is making things so hard and difficult. Okay, so the marketers will need the inconsequential. Just we lack the right investment in forcing country to have a system. This product when you are refined refinery from the stations real and people can get its oil and then power the residential, commercial, and industrial objectives.
Okay. All right, Richard. I think we got a considerable question of what you said till the network interfered at some point. But let's also hear the people and what they have to say about this. 0812-723-7060 or 0809-230-0022 These are the numbers to call this morning, or you can send a message to WhatsApp. Seems the network is not friendly to us this morning. Richard, somebody said something. I think a message we got. This person said, I think there's a group of people controlling the price of petrol for the NNPC. And then he says the price of Dangote does not match with that of NNPC.
Yeah, it's clear. Don't forget that after the time this government came into office, we saw change in practice where NNPCL now allowed different prices to different based on the region the state exists in. And then we saw the states where the crude oil is being produced, is being as in distilled, even paying higher. Like a Fireball state, for instance, was basically actually higher for PM than even Lagos state without a government refinery. And NNPC held that standard. And you could explain that tomorrow. If a state like River State, a state like a Fireball state, or SR, they have crude oil in abundant quantity, can still be allowed to basically refine the crude oil, determine the price of the PMX in the market. And yet we've seen the likes of Dangote and NNPCL just playing over the issue. To determine how natural resources in different parts of the country are basically exported. Because each state, for instance, allows to basically extract their own crude oil, set up their own refinery, and can refine this product, and it can sell it time to the Nigerian market, to the market. And that will also force the price. Sector, but most of the revenue as in the control. Because if the state allows to basically run their own refinery, and then sell and try to believe to their own citizens, to enable the economy to grow. But because of kind of centralism that will practice, it is still advantage of its endowment, not only just in the also the area of the marine economy, because why? Because it's overreached as regards its authority to control this thing, including mining. So these are part of the deficit in Nigerian structure that we are asking for reform. Most times when people like us won't talk about this issue, and we're told that we're trying to problem. Why in the real sense, the existing structure that powers the economy of this country, the political economy of this country, is built on lies and it's faulty. And this is part of the reason why we can see somebody sit somewhere in Lagos and tell you the price of PMX in Calabar, or the price of PMX in Imo State, in gas reserve in this country. Yes, cooking gas in Imo State is the same price as you buy in Lagos. It's not going more higher than what you buy in Lagos. How can you explain this? So these are the fundamental issues we're having. And then you talk about the issue, they just say you're trying to create problem, or you're trying to find a reason the public are suffering the nature of the fact that we're with a policy that cannot take anybody anyway. This current, what I call federalism with practice, if not even pseudo-federalism with practice, cannot lead this country to real growth. That's why some of us sometimes look at Jonathan during his regime and we said, we don't know how we can do it. So, automatic system was able to actually get their economy to go so high, and it became the talk and the destination of Africans across the globe. Today, what are we having? Nothing. They've increased the price of PMX. They made an agreement that they want to stop borrowing, but borrowing has even tripled. And today, one third of our budget is being used to demand debt that no Nigerian, according to one thing, they use the money they collected and it is one thing. Some states that the governors are trying to do their own stuff. Everything is just going down.
Okay. All right, Richard, before we call this conversation to a close, because we have another segment to look at, Dangote Refinery has started a trend of reducing the price of the PMS. The first one was in December and now in February. Are you seeing him reducing to the point where it will become cheap for Nigerians to afford? Hello?
They should keep increasing the price. Yeah.
I can hear you, but your line is breaking.
Well, can you hear me now?
Okay, let's try. Let's go ahead.
Okay, the truth is that we cannot even depend on that.
Okay. The network, like we said, is not favorable to us this morning, and we don't know why. Maybe because we're about leaving February into March. But all the same, he has said a lot of things, and I had wished the network was friendly enough for him to answer the question about Dangote and all of that. Let's see if he can finish the thought here. Okay, go ahead. Okay. I think the network is not it this morning. Now, Sini, like he was saying something, Dangote is a private business.
Yeah.
So even if he started something, the reduction in the price, we cannot depend on him as Nigerians because that's his private enterprise.
Well, that is why we really call on the regulatory bodies to stand firm in whatever position that they are holding on to. If you are coming to do business in a country like Nigeria, there are laws and rules governing whatever type of business that you'll be engaging in. The same way we have the NBC regulating this business we are in, they too have their regulatory body. They are the ones that will consider the economic position and do a proposal of where your pricing should be around. But like everybody has said, he's a private entity here in the oil sector and he would want to do business and make profit. But I am sure it won't be at the detriment of Nigerians. Why that is, we have seen his technical approach in gaining more grounds in the oil industry by reducing his price. It's purposeful, so at least competition will have now to match up with him rather than him trying to match up with
and
competition.
That's why the competition are lamenting.
So what that gives is the competition will come meet him at that position. He then becomes a major person that calls the shot in that sector. And that was why I was asking Mr. Richard, if we have more refineries come into this business, the hold that Dangote is aiming at having, he won't have that much because now you would have competition.
But is he having a hold? I think it's just a man trying to do business because I think the government has a role to play here. We have 4 refineries.
I remember
Imagine if the 4 refineries are working at the same time.
Which took me to what I wanted to say.
All of this back and forth wouldn't have happened.
Was it a week ago? Yeah, a week ago we had a report from the federal government that either the Dangote Refinery nor the Port Harcourt Refinery and the Warri Refinery weren't given 50% of what is expected of them to feed, as petrol to feed Nigeria. Yeah. So, although it's a business, but then it will be a business that Nigeria, the federal government, will have to regulate properly in ensuring that Aliko Dangote and his business partners don't come here and toss Nigerians into a level of hardship because of his policy, his company policy and positioning.
Right. It's unfortunate that the network has not allowed us to, smooth out our conversation with Richard Inoyo this morning. But all the same, it's fine. We want to sincerely thank you, Richard, for making our time, braving this whole network challenge that we're having this morning to, share your thought on this really salient matter. Coming up next is Africa Check, and there is a very juicy fact check here that they have done. Still coming from the whole IBB book. And very soon we'll be connecting with Mr. Owelukwi. I am hoping and praying that the network will allow us to have a good conversation with him this morning. But all the same, let's give you a hint as to what we will be talking about with him. There is a Facebook post that claimed that Yakubu Gowon said that Britain made him to start the 30-month Nigerian civil war. Imagine this. This is really huge. Okay, so that's what we'll be talking about with Mr. Owelukwi in a few minutes. And please stay with us.
We talk everything, everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
Entertainment.
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your charm.
John, what did do you? Why your temperature come high like this? Why you never go hospital?
I see for Facebook and WhatsApp say if I mix
Mix wetin? Hey. So for this kind time, you still dey believe all this story on top Facebook and WhatsApp? Abeg, no use your life play kite o. Make you no dey believe all those health story from person wey no get identity for social media. Now Africa Check bring you this message.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
Entertainment.
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your charm.
Welcome back. Thank you so much. Now let's focus on Africa Check. This morning we have, like we hinted you, a really important fact check to look at this morning. So in short, there are Facebook posts out there that claim that Yakubu Gowon, the former head of state, had said Britain made him to start the 30-month civil war in Nigeria. So, a post on a public Facebook group with over 94,600 members quote former military head of state Yakubu Gowon as saying he was asked by Britain to start the Nigerian Civil War in 1967. This is really, like we said, it's a grave one. And the post read, just in, I didn't start the Biafra war, but Britain asked me to because Igbo land was leading in technology and quantum city. Even during the war, without foreign help, the Igbos would have overpowered the whole Nigeria within a month. Gowon opens up. And this claim, you can find it in two other places. We have Mr. Orwell Lokbi. Good morning to you, Mr. Orwell. Good to hear your voice again.
Good morning to you.
Yes. All right. So this particular quote here is a big one, a grave one. And what did Africa Check do about it?
Okay, yeah, so of course, it's really something of significance if Yakubu Gowon, who was the head of state in Nigeria at the time when Nigeria had the civil war in 1967. I mean, if indeed he said that, the Britain asked him to start the war, I mean, it's a big deal. So we decided to look into the claim to see if there is any truth to it. But then it's good to understand the context in which this claim was made. It began to circulate on social media, particularly Facebook. The former military dictator Ibrahim Babangida, launched a book, like the autobiography now, which Britain launched that on the 20th of February, a journey in service, and all of the most of the former heads of state were still alive, were there, and many other prominent Nigerians are there, and even Yakubu Gowon also attended that event. And so the content of that book sort of has, brought up quite a lot of things that have to do with Nigeria's history, particularly history around, during the military regimes and, stuff around the coups and civil war and all that. And as a result of that, we have also seen some Nigerians asking Groan to, speak on some of those events and probably also publish his own book, because we've actually seen some groups actually requesting that he needs to publish a book to give details of some of the things that happened then. So it's in that context that this claim began to circulate. So it just seemed as if, because of the debate going on about some of these things, Groan has then decided to come out and make this revelation, right? That, he was, made to start the war by Britain. But we looked at every possible evidence around, to point to him saying that, and we found no credible evidence that he actually made such a statement. I mean, like you mentioned, if he made such a statement, it will be major headline news. Both local and international media, will publish it, and because that will be a major revelation, and the Civil War, which a lot different people have written about the Civil War, but then there's obviously some details of it that are yet to be uncovered. So, we checked everywhere, including looking at all of, Groan's recent comments published in the media, particularly even, the things that he said during the launch, right, when he was at the launch of IBB's book, talked at length about his friendship with Babangida and all of that, but he made no mention of the Civil War, and all of his recent interviews, comments in the media, anywhere there was no reference. This is something that he has decided not to talk about, and so if indeed he then spoke about it, that would be a major deviation from what he has decided not to do for several years, a decade actually. So there's absolutely no evidence
that he made such
claim is correct, that he ever made any such statement. So this is another case of certain quotes fabricated and then attributed to prominent individuals, probably to draw traffic to some, because we actually saw this was also published in some fake blog. Let me put it that way. So, it could especially just be to draw traffic, but really there's no evidence anywhere that he made that comment.
Okay. Now, this false claim, according to what we see here, is posted across different places, more than 10 places. What has been done to limit the spread of this?
Well, based on the arrangement that we have with Meta, the idea is that if, as we have done this check, Meta will sort of mark every instance of it with, to essentially flag it that, this has been checked and found to be false. And then the fact check will also, a link to the fact check will also be sort of attached to the post, so that anybody that sees it will be able to, see that it has been fact checked, and then they might be able to read the fact check and know that this is actually false. And then on top of that, they also promise that they usually reduce the circulation of such posts that have been marked in that way. So we want to believe that maybe a lot more people wouldn't be able to see those posts going forward, and whoever sees it will also see that it has been checked.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Orwell. So, to you listening, if you've come across this post, just bear in mind that it is false. There is no truth about this, so disregard it and don't share it. If you have shared it before, go on and share it. Thank you so much, African Check. Thank you, Mr. Orwell. Like I said, it's good to hear your voice again. All right. So, have yourself a great weekend.
Thank you so much. And you too.
Yes. So, yes, people, this is where we draw the curtain. And we're drawing the curtain on February. And we will see you in March. And the next edition will be in March. That will be on Monday. Cine, let me not say what I want to say. Yes, yes.
There is one thing about us that sets us apart. It is that our dogged will to want to do the right thing and even move forward in the face of adversity. I'm Sina Williams Ojeka saying Nigeria's all asked to build, be intentional about her growth, and we will see her move forward. Thank you very much.
Okamaka Richard Bassi is my name. God bless.